Hi, this is Beth Goring, and I wanted to give you an update on your annual plan and your program review process inside WEPR, our new web-enhanced program review process. First, you're going to go to web.dvc.edu to access this particular page. You're going to log in using your Contra Costa College username and password. Once you've logged in, it'll say authenticity has been successful, so you're just going to go ahead and click on that. And then you're going to come down here to DVC WEPR. You'll click on that. Now, all of the different shells that you have access to will show up right here. Notice right here it says 2017. And so these are all the shells that were created for 2017, 2018 year. If for any reason you've had a previous shell and you need to go back, you can click the down arrow and then you can go back to one of your last shells just to review it if you want to. Otherwise, it's right here. I want to first go through the administrative justice or an academic shell for you. So first you're going to go ahead and click on the online form for your particular department. When it comes up, you'll see there's 4 different categories. The first section is the unit plan, and so that's what we're going to be going over first. You're going to go ahead and click on that. As it comes up, you'll see that the college mission statement is here, the college values are here, and that the college strategic goals are also right there. This first area are recommendations from your last comprehensive program review mandated by your validation team. This information here is input by the president's office. Notice that these boxes are pretty small, but see this little box right here with these little dashes? If you hold down the shift key and pull that down, you'll be able to expand the box so you can actually see what's going on. So when your annual plan, over on this side of the box is where you're going to go ahead and address each one of the recommendations one at a time and say what your progress has been to meet that specific recommendation. Up here at the top, there's the word edit. Before you can do anything, you want to go ahead and click on the word edit. Notice that down here now, the areas have turned pink. So that means that you can write in these areas that have turned pink. So, for instance, you'll go ahead and click on it. You're going to click on one, and then you're going to comment on how you've pursued training your part-time faculty. So, training has been offered. All right, and then after you write that, see it's still pink? Make sure that you click off of it somewhere, and it'll turn green and it'll say saved right there. So once you've clicked on it and it turns green, that means that that has saved. If you're typing and it never turns green, that means that information wasn't saved. So you want to make sure that you periodically, as you're typing, you click off of it so you can save it. I'm going to go ahead and erase that. All right. And you notice as I click off here, I erased it and it's saved again. So now there's no information in here. So like I said, you're going to go ahead and type in everything that you've done to meet the needs of the recommendations. This next area are other accomplishments and improvements. This area is really important because it's part of the budget augmentation instructional funds process, or a rubric for awarding those particular items. Again, it's pink here, so you can edit. So you're going to go ahead and click on that, and you're going to put down what kind of accomplishments that you've had in terms of the support of the strategic goals. Remember, I said right up here, here's the strategic goals, and so you want to say, you know, what you've done to improve student access, learning, and success, how you've strengthened the community relationships, how you've effectively optimized resources, right? So you want to mention that, but then if there's other things that you have done that you weren't able to talk about up here, you want to go ahead and put all of your accomplishments that your department has undertaken over the last year. This next area is unit challenges and issues, and this is going to be important because you're going to say, why is it that your enrollment trends are different, or why is it that you need more money, and just you say that maybe there are state mandates that require new types of training, or there's state regulations that reduce the amount of courses because of repeatability, right? So you're going to just talk about whatever kind of challenges or issues the department is having. This next area is budget. This budget information is input by the business office on the campus. And if there's NV there, it's because those particular items aren't part of this particular department or program. You'll notice that we've gone back 5 years in terms of your budget, and you're going to want to go ahead and say what kind of trend. Is it a increasing trend, a stable trend, a decreasing trend, or do you not even have a budget? So you want to go ahead and say what's going on with the trend, and then you'll say whether this is a department budget or just a particular program budget. In this comment box here, this is money that the college gives you. Down here, you want to identify any other sources of money that come in to the department to help run the department. So if you get grants, if you've had some kind of instructional equipment or co-curricular or some kind of foundation accounts, you want to go ahead and identify it there. What the college is looking for is to try to understand your entire budget from year to year. This next item here is important. These are supply requests, and we want you not only to list the items that you want, but you want to go ahead and try to put a little bit of a justification on why you need this. $1,000 for licensing, that's important. Another $700 for office supplies for regular operations. Right, so you want to go ahead and list all of the different supplies that you need. Make sure that you identify the exact item and how much it costs as well. So that can be taken into consideration when there's budget augmentation money available. The next area is equipment requests and justifications. So make sure that you're saying what you need, the exact item, how much it costs, how many of them you need, and why you need this item. So you have to have good justifications when you're doing instructional equipment requests. Now these particular items need to cost or must cost over $200, and they have to last for longer than 1 year. If the item only lasts for 1 year, it's a consumable. That means it's a supply and not an equipment, instructional equipment. So again, write down the items that you need, how much it costs, the justification for it over here. The following year, as you can see down here, is that you're going to say what is the status of this particular item, of this particular request. So in administrative justice example here, they were able to purchase a smart podium, and so he basically identified over here that this was purchased. Yet he wanted a computer system and revised security system, and these particular items were not funded and were not purchased. So you want to go ahead and identify what happens over here the following year. So maybe this particular item will be moved back up here. Say, no, we still need this. The next area is basically the box 2A. It's faculty staffing requests and justification. So you're going to say how many faculty you need, why you need them. You're going to look at the FTE, FTEF, or FTES, FTEF to determine the level of need. And in order to see that particular item, you would go ahead and click on the down arrow, and you would go into section 2 right here. It says section 2, and you would click on that, and then it said 2D, so you would click on 2D, and here is your FTE, FTES, FTEF, and for some reason, oh, let me go down here. And it's going to tell you what's your part-time ratios, full-time ratio, departments, and so you're going to use this information to help you fill out that last box 2A request, but this is where you get that information based on faculty. You don't necessarily have to do based on gender or based on division ethnicity. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click back on this back arrow. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and go all the way out. And go back in. Alright, I'm going to click on Edit up here if you want to be filling stuff out. Alright, so box 2A. So again, you want to have the information from D1 through D3 to justify why you need new staffing. If you're requesting classified staffing down here, again, you're going to be using that same data in D1 through D3 to ask for classified. And then down here, if you're not asking for a classified person or faculty, just go ahead and put NA. That way we know that you just didn't forget to do it, that you actually identified that you don't have that particular need at this time. And this last area down here for the annual plan is facilities requests and justification. And so you're going to go ahead and put down anything that your facility classroom needs in order to make the learning experience more successful. And so this particular one, students complain consistently about the high temperatures in this room and that we need to purchase a new HVAC system. So he has the item that he wants and he has justification for why. So again, here's some examples of facility requests. That is the end of your annual plan. So this particular annual plan you will do every year. All right. Now, if you are doing your program review, then you're going to go ahead and move into the next two sections, Section 2 and Section 3. So Section 2, we looked at it a little bit. And it has A, B, C, D, and E is for CTE only. All right. So in this first section here, it has your FTES, census fill rates, and productivity for the department. Again, this information is input by the district. You're going to want to go ahead and push edit right there so you see that these fields turn green so you can use them. You want to go ahead and identify the trend, and then you're going to comment on these numbers. So if you see that your enrollment, FTES, is going up, right, or it's going down, then you want to try to identify why that is occurring. If your FTES for your program is different than the college or different than the division, then you want to identify what's going on with that. For instance, down here with census fill rates, you see that the program is at 90% fill, the department is at 78% fill, the division is at 56% fill, and the college is at 72% fill. So you could say that this particular program has extremely high fill rates, and so it's in demand by students. That's a good thing to say. Down here on FTES, FTEF, again, you're going to pick whatever trend it is, and then you're going to try to compare. This is the maximum. It's not necessarily what you have. It's just the max productivity that your program can have. And here is how close you are to your max productivity. And then you can actually compare it to department. You can compare it to the division, and you can compare it to the college. So it says the college productivity is about 14. The program productivity is about 19.9. So you would identify that this particular program's productivity far exceeds the college productivity and far exceeds the division productivity as well. So you want to identify, where you're doing really well, and then where you may be slipping, and then try to let the reader understand why that may be the case. Once you've typed in that, I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, and it automatically takes us to 2B. And 2B are success rates for students, all students, gender, ethnicity, age, disability, and then course retention. So again, all of this information is input by the district. You're going to go ahead and identify, after you've clicked on edit up here, it's already clicked, you're going to identify what the trend is. So for this particular area, all students, we have 70, 55, 70, 70, 70. So it's basically pretty consistent. So I would say this is stable. On the success by gender, you can see that, let's just go over here, that we had 75% success for males and 72 success for females. And if we compare that with all college students at 70%, so we could say that the males in this particular program are more successful than the average college male or average college student, and as the same thing for the females, are more successful for this program than the average all college student. So you want to just kind of look at these statistics and see what you see and how to identify what's going on. And then you can do it by ethnicity. Again, if we're looking at equity as a platform for student success, then we want to identify how successful we are with the different ethnic groups, and we want to be able to take steps to change these numbers, to have our African American students do as well as our Hispanic students, that do as well as our other non-white students, right? So we want everybody to be as at the same level. And so what kind of steps are we taking to try to enhance that or achieve more equality or equity? All right, down here we have by age, so you can comment on that. Success by disability, and then this last one is retention. So what you're going to do down here is you're going to just talk about some of these issues. You want to talk about success for overall students. You want to mention a little something about gender, about ethnicity, and then maybe about course retention rates. So you have lots of data here, and you can actually discuss these issues and what you plan to do to enhance your program. When you're done with that, you'll click on that down arrow again, which will take you into the next category, which is 2C. And this is where it's telling you how many degrees or certificates that you've been awarding as a department. So you'll, again, identify, that you're editing, and you'll say whether or not it's stable, decreasing, increasing. Here's where we're talking about SLOs, or student learning outcomes, for all courses. It's asking you, are the assessments on schedule or behind? And so then you'll just click over here. You can drag this down if you want it, but you just click over here and click on the down, and you can say you're on schedule or you're behind schedule. You want to identify where you are. And you'll say what courses have not been assessed in this cycle and why. So if you're not on schedule, and you're going to say, well, what courses are you behind in, and what happened? Why is it? Maybe the course hasn't been offered in 2 years. This is a CTE program. Maybe the course hasn't been offered in 2 years because of some kind of glitch. So you want to identify what that is. The next area is what is being done in the curriculum and pedagogy as a result of these assessments that were going on. So we know that we do SLO assessments in an effort to improve the quality of education, to increase the level of success and completion for our students. So what changes have we made in order to bring about better student learning outcomes? What kind of impact or improvements to our student learning? You want to write that down. And then what further changes have been planned since the last program review to try to help improve efforts? And then describe your efforts to ensure SLO assessments include representative samples of sections. So you just want to basically give us what procedures are you using to choose what courses are assessed. Maybe you say, we assess every single course, every single section. Or you can say, out of the 20 sections of math, we randomly choose 10 of them. So you'll just go ahead and say what kind of procedures you're using. This next one is your program learning outcomes. So this is information. So in terms of your program learning outcomes, are you on schedule? Or are you behind schedule? So your first thing you want to do is go ahead and click on that, and then drop down menu, you're either on or behind. So choose which one you are. And you can say what changes to the curriculum or pedagogy. It's basically the same questions, but you're relating it now to your program strategies. So what kind of program strategies likely impact student learning? Maybe the sequencing of courses. So maybe if you're offering the base course before you offer the more intricate course, that helps. That's a good program strategy to make sure students take courses in the right order. Maybe you're moving towards guided pathways. So you want to try to go ahead and say what kind of program strategies you're using to help improve student learning and what you anticipate to change in the near future. Describe your efforts to ensure SLO assessments includes representative sample sections. Again, that's the same thing that's right there. So copy and paste that back again. Sorry about that. And then down here, if there's anything else that you need to say, commenting on curricular SLO and PLO, what are you doing, right? So have comments about your plans. When you're done with that section, go ahead and click. Now you're in 2D. And this is faculty information. We used this already for our Box 2A part of our annual plan, but you can see here this information is input by the district office. You can see what your full-time head count is, your part-time head count, your FTEF, and then the FTEF, full-time, FTEF, part-time. And you can do it by gender. You can look at by division, faculty, ethnicity. So, and then down here you're just going to comment on that and discuss the unique needs of the department program in terms of faculty, including part-time, full-time ratios, and justify any hiring requests. So you want to go ahead and really talk about what the needs of your staffing is for your area. Now you're in E. Now again, E is only for CTE programs. You will not have an E if you're a regular academic program. So up here it'll say what department, CTE department, and then the CTE top code. And this is information here. So there's going to be a report. This particular report up here, you're going to make sure it's on edit. This report is provided by the Dean of Economic and Workplace or Workforce Development. So at the beginning of every semester, I send out an email to our academic dean, or Dean of Economic and Workforce Development, and request that CTE programs that are undergoing program review are provided with this particular report for economic modeling and occupational overview, and the report for College Core indicators. So she's going to provide both of those reports. She's going to upload them into a OneDrive folder, and then it's a public folder, so anybody that has the link can access it, and then she's going to provide that link to you. You will just copy and paste the link in here, and you will copy and paste the other link here. So that's what you do. You just copy and paste the link. In this box here, you're going to look at this report, and you're going to try to identify what kind of trends, increases, or decreases are happening within this report. The wonderful thing about this is that our Dean of Economic and Workforce Development will, if you ask her, she will provide you with an analysis of this report. And she, if you want to go in and sit down with her, and she will explain what's going on with it, and she will help you understand what the report means. And then you'll just type up an analysis of that. You can use her analysis as well. Again, here's this report. It'll be a link to a public folder. And again, you will just analyze this report, and the Dean of Economic Workforce Development will help you analyze that if you ask her to. This third section, advisory committee involvement, you need to identify the number of committee meetings that you've had both in fall and in spring over the last 2-year period since your last full program review or program update. You're going to say what kind of advisory committee request program changes. Did they request any changes to your program? You'll identify that. You're going to upload your advisory committee meeting minutes into a public folder on the OneDrive, and then you're going to include the links to those committee minutes in here. I do have a video that helps you learn about how to create a OneDrive account, and it's on our campus webpage. At the bottom, you click on Faculty Resources, you scroll down, you click on Program Review, and then you scroll down and you'll see where it says OneDrive instructional video. And so you'll click on that and it'll take you, it's a really short video, maybe 10 minutes, and it'll show you how to create that account, how to put your file in it, make it public, so you can just insert the link here. Now you have completed section 2 of your program review. The last section in the program review is this section 3. In this section, you're going to again click on edit so everything turns pink. You're going to type in what your department goals are for your next program review. Now this is not what the validation committee suggests. This is stuff that you want to do with your program. Maybe this is stuff that your advisory committee says you need to do, right? So you want to go ahead and say what your goals are for the next program review cycle. You're also going to talk about your content review efforts, because we have to do content review on courses every 4 years. So you're going to say whether or not you're current. Are you current? Yes. Or are you current? No. Or if no, why, right? So if you say yes, then you're done with that section. If you say no, then you need to say why you're not current. What happened that you fell behind? You're going to go ahead and list what kind of professional development activities that you've or your department members have undertaken in order to help you stay current in your discipline. You'll talk about any type of survey results or industry surveys or employee surveys that you've done to see what the direction of the program needs to go, and whether students are happy. Now again, this is if applicable. So if you didn't do a student survey or industry survey, you can just put NA if it doesn't apply. You want to list your outreach efforts if they apply, and you can go ahead and just list your efforts. You don't have a whole lot of word count here, so you would just go ahead and simply list what you've done. And again, if you haven't done any outreach, then you want to go ahead and put NA right there to let us know that you did look through this particular item and it doesn't apply to you. Once you've done that, you are almost done. Signature. So we do electronic signature, which means that each committee member has to type in their own name, and a typed name is considered signature. We don't have to do this paper stuff anymore. So each person will type in their own name. Department chair will type in their name, and then it is complete. Once you have all your program review committee members type their name in, and any other advisory committee or any other person down here that you want to have a sign off on this, then you're going to email your dean, and you're going to email the senior dean and the planning. You're going to email planning committee member chairs and let them know that you've finished. We actually started a new validation process, and you're going to be in contact with your validation team member the entire process throughout the entire year. So you will just contact your validation team leader and let them know that you're done. That way they can go ahead and start the validation process. I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, please contact me.